Hey everyone, what is going on, and welcome back to today's video. And it is Sunday, so today we're going to be diving into our 4th operator guide, and today we're going to be going over Jaeger. Now in the last video there were 3 votes on Buck, Warden or Jaeger, and Jaeger won by a landslide. He had 45 votes I think is the current number, and the closest second was Buck, and he has about 25-27 I think. So yeah, Jaeger won, and that's who we're going to be doing in today's video. Now before we hop into this video, we have to choose next week's operators. So for next week's operators, it's going to be either Buck, we're going to give him another shot, Ying, and Alibi. I know they're random, but I just picked some random ones that I think could be useful for a guide. And if you guys do want the new operators even, make sure to let me know down below, and I might include them in the next video's polls. But let me know if you want new operator guides. So other than that, that's about everything I have to say. Now we can jump into the guide. So let's hop into the Jaeger guide. Now, as always, we're going to start off with the weapon review, we're going to move on to the gadget utilization, and then we're going to move on to operator strategies. So, other than that, let's hop into the weapon review. Starting off with Jaeger's weapon, he has the 416 carbine, the renowned weapon that everyone knows he has. The best weapon on defense, arguably, the 416 carbine hits very hard, dealing 38 damage on 740 rounds per minute. This thing is an absolute beast, and everyone knows that it hits hard and it does damage. Combining this with its basically no recoil and it's just pretty decent magazine size holding 30 rounds, this thing is an absolute weapon you can bring on the defensive side. And pairing this up with his pistol, the P12, a very hard hitting pistol that does good damage, it actually equivalents, that deals 44 damage per hit on a shot. Pairing this up with the 416, it can be a very deadly force. And of course, we cannot forget about the M870, the greatest shotgun in the game. It is also part of Jaeger's loadout, and it's not a bad weapon in all honesty. It one-taps majority of the time if you're in a certain range, and its overall damage is actually 60. So I'm not complaining. The M870 is a great shotgun, but obviously, if you're trying to play competitive, then you want to bring Jaeger's 416 because it's just the obvious harder hitting weapon, and it's what you want to bring to your defensive side. Now with the weapons wrapped up, we're going to be hopping into the gadget utilization of Jaeger. Now everyone knows what Jaeger's gadget does. It is the ADS, or otherwise known as the Active Defense System. It is a great gadget that utilizes destruction of grenades. Not just grenades, but any throwable that is thrown within the vicinity of this device is completely eliminated, destroyed, and just wiped out of the existence of the game. Now he has 3 ADSs in his arsenal that he can put down on separate walls, and they each destroy 2 throwable objects. Now this is obviously a step up from Wamai, even though Wamai was more recent. I've talked about this in a recent video. Wamai's kind of just a budget Jaeger, and he's nowhere near as great because firstly he only sucks in what is thrown. He doesn't actually destroy it. The device still does go off, and that's what makes him inferior to Jaeger. Now putting these devices down in the most unseen spots possible is the best way to use him, because obviously when defenders are throwing them in, if you have the ADS just facing them, they're just going to shoot it before they throw it in. So you want to make sure you get it out of their line of sight. That's the number one thing when you're putting down ADSs. And other than that, there's not much to talk about really in Jaeger's gadget. It's a pretty straightforward gadget. It's just straight up, put it down and it will do its job. It's good to counter. Its counters are really Fuse is the main one, and Ying can also counter. And yeah, it's just a great ability to have. It brings utility to your team, and it can save your team the round if it's the right circumstance. Now finally, we're going to be hopping into the operator strategies. Now, operator strategies with Jaeger is really a half-half. Most people play him as a roamer because they utilize his 3 speed, his hard-hitting weapon, and just his ability to move around the map with such speed and aggressiveness. That's what a lot of people play Jaeger for. But, in all honesty, if you think about it, his gadget kind of leans in towards the anchoring side, even though his actual character has got the loadout of a roamer. His gadget that he's meant to bring and you're meant to play with your gadget is more of a roaming type. It is a put down and go type of thing, but I'd say Jaeger is meant to be played as maybe a light roamer, like someone who sits around close to the objective, same floor most of the time, and just sticks around and comes back to the objective when required. But the most efficient way to play Jaeger, as we all know, is to roam hard. Utilizing this 3 speed on Jaeger is the best decision you can make. He is incredibly fast, and pairing this up with his overpowered weapon that we all know will absolutely destroy you if you're not paying attention and you don't get the first shot. It's just the greatest thing you can do with Jaeger, and utilizing this roam is just a great idea. Obviously, back in the day when he had an ACOG, it was even worse because he was able to spawn peek, but they did remove that, as all of you know probably, so he can't spawn peek as hard anymore, but he definitely can still spawn peek if you're up to the challenge. If you put a reflex or a holographic on, you can still pick up those kills if you have the eyesight and aim required to get these kills, and yeah, just utilize him as best as you can and play him to your playstyle. That's really the best way you can play Jaeger on his operator strategies. I personally believe roaming is the better option to take with Jaeger because he is a 3-speed, and most 3-speed's goal is to roam. His gadget can be deployed before you leave the objective, and then it's you can't really, like, you don't have to monitor it. It can just do its job while it's there, and if it gets destroyed, it gets destroyed. If it does its job, it does its job. I guess it's just an immediate thing you do, and most Jaeger players do that, and then they move along to roaming. But if you are going to roam, make sure you're not being an idiot. Like, just because you have a great weapon doesn't mean you can contest every gunfight you take. Make sure to still play smart and take advantage of easy picks instead of just risking your life. And that is basically the Jaeger guide. I'm not really sure how to in-depth Jaeger. Most of you know how to play him anyway, but he was requested, so I had to do him. So other than that, that's the Jaeger guide. I just want to remind you guys that I stream on Twitch. I have been streaming on YouTube, but I'm not doing that anymore. I stream on Twitch. The link is in the description, which is just below the video, no matter what device you're on. Make sure to click it and come watch tonight's stream. I'll be streaming 15 minutes after this video is uploaded. So if you watch it before the 15 minutes is up, make sure to come stop by. And if you watch it after, I'll probably be live by then anyway. So make sure to click that link down in the description and come watch the Twitch. I'd like to see you guys at the live streams. And yeah, that is going to be the Jaeger guide. Make sure to vote down below for either Buck, Ying, or Alibi. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.